One morning in the fall of 1943, after my morning mass, I was notified by the pastor that there was a call for me at the county jail. There was a prisoner there screaming that he had to have a Catholic priest, and he wanted to see one immediately. I hesitated to go because I had classes, but the pastor told me that I had to go. So I went. While on my way, I was totally unconscious of the fact that I had become violently angry, and people who heard me and who saw me said that I knew words that they didn't think I ever knew, and that I was like a demon from the lower regions, the way I was behaving. I got to the jail and said, "Where is that one who wants me?" When I was brought up to him, he said to me, "Are you a Catholic priest?" At that moment, all the anger and all the violence in me left me. Claude Newman, who was the prisoner, told me later on that the Blessed Mother said that this was exactly how I would come, that the devil would try to stop me, and that he would try to scandalize and drive Claude away. After I talked to them a while, they wanted instructions. There were 4 other men in the cell block. Claude told me exactly what happened the night before. He said that the 5 men were around talking, they ran out of conversation, and he saw a medal on a string around another prisoner's neck. He asked what it was, and the Catholic boy told him that it was a medal. He said, "What is a medal?" And the Catholic boy could not explain what a medal was and its purpose. In anger, the Catholic snatched the medal from off his own neck and threw it on the floor at Claude's feet with a curse, telling him to take the so-and-so thing. Claude called for a trustee, got a piece of string, and tied it around his own neck. To him it was only a bauble, a trinket. And during the night, sleeping on top of his cot, just in his underclothes, he awakened with a touch on his wrist, and there stood, as he told me, the most beautiful woman that God ever created. He was scared at first, thinking that because he was black and she was white, that this was a trap to accuse him of trying to rape a white woman, and that he would be burned alive instead of being brought to the electric chair eventually. She calmed him, and then she said to him, "If you would like me to be your mother, and you would like to be my child, send for a priest of the Catholic Church." And with that she disappeared. If Claude had been shaken before, he was now terrified. He screamed a haunt, meaning a ghost, and fled to the cell of one of the other prisoners. All night long he kept screaming he wanted a priest, he wanted a priest. While Claude told me all this, I listened to him, but I didn't believe him. The other prisoners told me that everything was true except they didn't know anything about the vision. But they did want catechisms, so I promised to come back and bring them to him. On my way downstairs, I stopped off to see the jailer whom I had scandalized on my way up, not even knowing at all that I had scandalized him. And I asked him how his family was, and he said, "Oh, you're calm and rational, you're not as crazy as you were going upstairs." He said, "And boy," he said, "Father, you know words I didn't think anybody knew." I went home very humiliated and very much ashamed of myself. I told Father Francis, the pastor, what had happened. The next day I went back with the catechism. And then I found that Claude Newman could not read or write a word. The only time he could tell if a book was upright is if there was a picture there. He had never been one single day in a classroom in his life. And as his ignorance of human knowledge was so deep, his ignorance of religion was even deeper. He knew nothing at all about religion. He did not know who Jesus was. He did not know anything except that there was a God, period. Well, we began the instructions. And the prisoners helped Claude. And after a few days of giving instructions, Sister Michaeline and Sister Benna, 2 of the teachers in our school, asked if they could come to the jail. They wanted to see Claude. They also wanted to see the women in the jail. And Sheriff Williamson gave permission. And so the sisters began going to the jail and giving instructions to the women, while I went upstairs and gave instructions to the men. Several weeks passed, and it came time where I was going to begin instructions on the sacrament of penance. And just before I was going to start, the two sisters finished their classes downstairs and got permission to go upstairs. The trustee put two chairs outside the cell block for them, and one sat on each side of me. And I said to them, boys, we're going to start talking about the sacrament of confession, of penance. And Claude said to me, oh, I know that. He said, she told me that when we go to confession, we are kneeling down, not before a priest, but we're kneeling down by the cross of her Son. And that when we are truly sorry for our sins, and we confess our sins, the blood he shed flows down over us and washes us free from our sins. Well, the sisters now sat there with our mouths wide open. And Claude took it that we were angry. And he said to me, oh, don't be angry, don't be angry. I didn't mean to blurt it out. I said, I'm not angry, I'm just amazed. You have seen her again? He said, come around the cell block away from the others. And so I did. And he said to me, she told me that if you doubted me or showed hesitancy, I was to remind you that lying in a ditch in Holland in 1940, you made a vow to her which she's still waiting for you to keep. And he told me exactly what the vow was. Needless to say, I was converted. We went back, and Claude kept telling the other fellows, you should not be afraid to go to confession. You're really telling God your sins, not this priest or any other priest. We're telling God our sins. He said, you know, she said something like a telephone. We talk through the priest to God, and God talks back to us through the priest. Amen. So, about a week later, we were going to take and speak about the Blessed Sacrament. And Claude said, well, you won't get angry with me, will you? I said, no. And the sisters were there too. He said, well, he said, communion. In communion, I will only see what looks like a piece of bread. But she told me that that is really and truly her Son, and that he will be with me just for a few moments, as he was with her before he was born in Bethlehem, and that I should spend my time like she did in all her time with him, loving him, adoring him, thanking him, praising him, and asking him for the blessing. I shouldn't be bothered about anybody else or anything else, but I should spend my 2 or 3 minutes with him. I said, well, Claude, there's nothing I can add to that. I said, it's perfect, you know? So, time went on, we finished the instructions, and the day came when Claude was to be executed. The sheriff asked him, Claude, you have a privilege of a last request. What do you want? He said, well, he said, Sheriff, he said, you're all shook up. The jailer is all shook up. But he said, you don't understand. I'm not going to die, just this body.